It is common knowledge that the INFJ personality type is the most calm and caring one out there. The people with this personality are natural empaths and can easily understand the situation others are going through. This is why the relationships often last forever. Can you imagine a person who is so loving, caring, and understanding towards their partners ruining a relationship? Well, we'll make it easier for you. The truth is, even INFJs are humans, and where there is good, there must also be bad. Anyway, let's dive into why INFJs ruin relationships. But before we do that, we would really like it if you could click the like button to support the channel. Remember, we make these videos for free for your entertainment, and that is all we ask for in support. Hit the subscribe button while you're there too. All set, let's look at what INFJ attributes push their partners away and cause their relationships to end. INFJs can easily be considered the most loving personality of all. They have a way of connecting with their partners at the emotional level, which gives them all the power they need to truly show them what love means. It is a superpower that all INFJs possess, and you can rest easy because an INFJ person would never misuse that superpower. But there is a thing as too much love, as crazy as it sounds, and sometimes INFJs forget that. This overwhelms their partners and can often lead to disaster and heartbreak. Here's a few reasons why INFJs ruin relationships. Their alone time. Let's start off easy. INFJs are introverts. This means that they operate on a social battery. As they interact with people, that battery starts to drain. That even includes their partners. Once the battery depletes completely, they need to be alone to recharge. Now, on the surface, that doesn't seem like much of a problem, but in reality, their alone time can last from anything to a day to maybe weeks. Not everyone is patient enough to wait that long to even talk to their partners, and there will come a time when they reach their limit. Not very open. Another thing that comes with being an introvert is not speaking to your partner about your problems. Introverts, and especially INFJs, are naturally very shy and like keeping to themselves. They can spend a lot of time listening to your problems, but when it comes to opening up about their own, they become distant and closed off. Because of this, a lot of people who are in relationships with INFJs might feel that there is no trust in the relationship. This might push them away and make them doubt whether staying in the relationship is even worth it. INFJs obviously don't do this purposely. It is just not natural for them to share every detail about themselves with anyone, including their partners. Overly sensitive. One of the amazing qualities INFJs have is being sensitive to those around them. They make sure they feel what their partners are feeling instead of just calming them down with empty words. But sometimes things can get out of hand. It is actually very common for INFJs to become overly sensitive, and they soon start losing control over their emotions. Their sensitivity is truly tested in times of conflict. While loud arguments and heavy screams are enough to overwhelm anyone, INFJs might overreact to the most insignificant of situations. If their partner calls them out for a small mistake they made, they might lose their head and unnecessarily escalate things. They will also do everything they can to avoid conflict at any cost. This leaves a lot of problems unresolved, which may come back to haunt them later. Deep intuition. Moving on to the creative traits of INFJs, these individuals are extremely aware of their inner thoughts and ideas. They love forming deep connections with those around them and do not care much for materialistic things like cars and houses. This is all because of their intuition, which is a big part of their personality. It's right there in the name, after all. Because of these deep connections, INFJs can get easily bored by conversations that are not appealing to them. They want to know their partner's thoughts and interests rather than making small talk or talking about boring subjects like politics and taxes. It wouldn't be much of a surprise if an INFJ chose engaging in meaningful conversation as their idea of a perfect date night. And it's also fair to say not everyone can have those conversations all the time. It might become overwhelming for them to a point where the relationship ends. High expectations. If you gave all your time and attention to your partner and made them feel loved around the clock, would you not expect to receive the same treatment from them in return? That is exactly the dilemma INFJs find themselves in when they enter relationships. In fact, even before they make it official, INFJs create almost impossible to reach expectations from their partners. And when their partners, unsurprisingly, fail in meeting those expectations, INFJs may end up heartbroken. They have a habit of seeing a person's potential and expect them to achieve it. But should the person fail, the INFJ might push them away instead of communicating their disappointment. These constant high expectations may be too much for their partners, and they could choose to distance themselves from the INFJ. Giving too much. INFJs give their everything for the people they love. They don't just let anyone question their efforts in a relationship. But sometimes an INFJ just can't stop giving. When they see their partners in need, they give them all their attention. They give them love and affection, and often forget to ask for it in return. This creates an imbalance in their relationship, which almost certainly has its consequences. This act of giving without receiving may also make INFJs a target for narcissists and other selfish people who are only looking to use them. On these occasions, an INFJ might end the relationship themselves rather than wait for their partners to do so. Idealist thinking. INFJs are full of admirable qualities, but there is one quality that does them more harm than good, even when they aren't in a relationship. It is their idealist thinking. INFJs tend to see only the good in people and the world. They often turn a blind eye towards the negative traits someone might display. They also live in a fantasy world where they believe the person they date will be the person they will spend their lives with. When they let their partners know about their idealism, it often puts them off and hurts the relationship. This is because sometimes partners are not ready to be considered a soulmate. So they distance themselves from the INFJ and choose to be with someone with a more realistic approach to life. Before we move on with the video, is there a reason we might have missed in the list? Do you think INFJs ruin or build relationships more often? Let us know your opinions in the comments below. Moving on to the main reason why INFJs ruin relationships. Lack of communication. The INFJ personality type is the one that is most in touch with their inner self. They know what they want, when they want it, and who they want it from. But almost all INFJs share one common habit that hurts them the most: their lack of communication. An INFJ can easily understand what they need from their partners, but they are afraid to put their needs forward. They spend a lot of time thinking about what words to use, but are often unable to say anything at all. They also hope their partners will somehow understand their needs without them asking, which is unrealistic. This makes the relationship extremely uncomfortable and can cause many problems down the line. But that's not all. The worst scenario an INFJ can find themselves in is when they are no longer attracted to their partners and want to end the relationship. Unfortunately, their lack of communication kicks in and they avoid the topic to the best of their abilities. They are so afraid of hurting their partner's feelings that they would live unhappily for months rather than end the relationship and move on. They also back down from situations where they know they are correct but do not want to aggravate their partners. It is simple to understand how lack of communication not only ruins relationships, but also an INFJ's mental health. And with that, we have reached the end of our video on why INFJs ruin relationships. If you are an INFJ struggling with your relationship, couples therapy is a great option for making your experience better. If you've watched till the end, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your post notifications. If you like this video, check out this next one, and we will catch you all next time.